this day and age, it is a lot harder for people to vanish without a trace. You could be under surveillance and not even be aware of it. On March 3, 2021, the streets were bare. With COVID cases on the rise, there was a lockdown in effect. But Sarah Everards decided she was healthy enough to make plans with her friend. She masked up and ventured out to a convenience store to purchase some wine for her girls' night out. It took her about 50 minutes to walk from her house from Brixton to her friends in Clapham, in South London. The two hung out until about 9 p.m. when Sarah geared up to start the 2.5-mile walk back home. On the walk back, she talked with her boyfriend over the phone. The two made plans to meet the following day, and they said goodbye to each other at about 9:30 p.m. A Ring doorbell catches her on camera around that time, which is one of the last times she's ever seen alive. Footage from a bus camera catches one last glimpse of her. This time a man is next to her. He appears to be taking something out of his pocket and walking towards her. In the footage, you can see a white car with its caution lights on next to them. Police learn the car is a car rented under Wayne Couzens, a Metropolitan Police officer. The off-duty officer used his police ID to masquerade as an undercover cop, to manipulate Sarah into thinking she was being arrested for being out during COVID restrictions. He used authentic police handcuffed and put her in the back of his rented car. I wonder when she first realized that her life was in danger. On March 10, 2021, they found her remains only about 50 miles from where she was last seen alive with Wayne. An autopsy determined she died due to strangulation before her body was set on fire. Police began to look into the last man that saw her alive. Wayne Couzens first became involved with the police in 2005, when he joined the Kent Force as a special volunteering constable. By March 2011, he was fully hired to join the Civil Nuclear Constabulary, which saw him stationed as an armed protection officer at a nuclear facility. He quickly moved up the rank, becoming a Metropolitan Police officer by September 2018. Police forces are obliged to carry out background checks, but it's unclear how deep of a review they did on Wayne. Especially considering in 2015, a complaint was filed against him for driving a vehicle naked from the waist down. The Independent Office for Police Conduct investigated why police didn't properly look into those allegations. The government's drive to recruit 20,000 new police officers by 2023 could have resulted in things being missed during background checks. The car Wayne was driving was reported, but he was not named a suspect, and the investigation remained incomplete. The allegations in 2015 weren't the only complaint against him. Couzens also exposed himself in a McDonald's restaurant in South London on February 28, 2 weeks before the abduction. And yet again, only 72 hours before the rape, abduction, and murder of Sarah. Chief Inspector of Constabulary Sir Tom Windsor has expressed fears of an alleged culture of colleague protection within the police. His colleagues even knew he was attracted to violent pornography. Oddly, they had reportedly given him the nickname the Rapist. Wayne had gotten accustomed to being above the law. He used his identity as a police officer to get what he wanted: to hunt his prey. When police interviewed him, he played dumb.
Do you know Sarah?
I don't know.
Okay. The inquiry that's been conducted so far has led us to come and speak to you about it, and to see what we know about Sarah, okay? So, would you like to, do you know where Sarah lives?
No.
No. Have you ever personally met her?
No, not personally, no.
Had any interactions with her at all?
Why would I have personal interactions with her?
Well, difficult because I can't go into a lot of the evidence because obviously that's not part of what an urgent interview is, okay? This interview is just about trying to find her.
Sure.
She's been missing for a while now.
I'm sat in handcuffs and I know her, so you must have something to say that I know her.
Well, as I said, you've been arrested on suspicion of kidnapping, and we believe that you've been involved in her disappearance and taking her away from her family.
Okay, well, I am in financial
Then he goes on to claim he, a police officer, was scared of a criminal gang that allegedly had been threatening to kill his family because he allegedly owed them money. But his story just didn't add up in court. The police officer wasn't able to give the name of any gang, nor was there any paper trail of money being owed, or any trail of communication with anyone regarding snatching a pretty young girl off the streets as a form of payment. After prosecutors shot down his ridiculous story, the 33-year-old, married father of 2 was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole, making the streets slightly safer. Statements have been made by law enforcement, stating that he would have done the crime regardless of him being an active officer. But I feel this was an attempt to take the heat off them for allowing Wayne to be an active officer even after all the off-strikes against him with taking his out in public. Because regardless of whether or not he committed the crime as an officer or not, the fact of the matter was this unstable individual should have had his title as an officer stripped of him as soon as he started to repetitively break the law. Because bottom line is, having police identification 100% made it easier for him to pick up his prey. Now, I find myself wondering, was Sarah his only victim? Or were there others? Maybe we'll never know.
Please click the subscribe button so you can keep up to date with my channel. Thanks for watching and take care.